There's no more spectacular athlete in the world than Saquon Barkley, and he's 22 years old in his prime. It's just a happy thing. Mm-hmm. They're going to risk it. They're going to, if it's even a question, not just this Sunday, but then on a short week you play the Patriots, forget that. Forget it.
But we had concerns yesterday. We talked about Tom Brady, game manager. You don't think they could potentially do something?
Well, here's what it is. This is fool's gold. Do the Giants think they're going to do something this year because Daniel Jones looks promising so far and they're 2-2? Look at the Giants and what they've done so far. That Bucs game, they should have lost. They got lucky to win at the end. Let's be honest. The following week against Washington, they would have won that game anyway. Washington, along with Miami and maybe Cincinnati, these are terrible, terrible teams. And yet there were guys open who the Washington quarterbacks were just missing. They weren't seeing them or they were missing them. The Giants' defense, all three levels of the defense are in bad shape. First of all, up front, they can get no pressure on the quarterback. Secondly, the secondary can't cover anybody. And thirdly, the linebacking core is now thin because Connolly went down. And that's it. IR. So all three levels of the defense are a real problem for the Giants. They ain't going anywhere this year. So what I'm asking is, what is the sense in rushing Saquon back? This guy, for the reasons I just said, what you brought up in the beginning, this guy is going to keep Giants fans happy, rain, snow, or shine, for the next 10 years at least. Do not risk it. Not Sunday. I don't want to see him on Thursday either.
Why are you even being allowed to talk about the New York Giants? You have no objectivity. You're entirely emotional. I mean, you don't have no objective. Everything that you said just now is drivel. First of all, the guy, you just finished raving weeks ago about how the guy got tree trunks for legs, okay? Most people would have had their ankles broke on the play that he suffered from. This dude gets hurt during the Tampa game and then is hopping around the stadium in celebration minutes later, okay? Most people would have been in the hospital with the damn leg broke. This dude is an abnormal individual. That's number one. Number two, they're not rushing him back. What he's doing is walking out there and all of a sudden, instead of being carried off the field 1 minute, hopping around the next. Now, this dude comes out one day where most people would still be on crutches. He's walking around. 2 days later, he's running around. Number three, he's practicing. He's not playing. Number four, when you look at the New York Giants, first of all, they're not going to rush him back. They're not going to let him play unless he's ready to play, because no matter how much value you know he is to the franchise, trust me, they know how much value he is to that franchise, particularly when you want to protect Daniel Jones as well. Number five, Max Kellerman, how many times do I have to tell you to stop disrespecting the American consumer? They do have a right, okay? They patronize the product. They do have a right to want to see guys. Nobody's talking about rushing them. Nobody's talking about pushing them back. But to sit here at 2-2, knowing how historically tough the NFC East division is, knowing that the Eagles were just one game away from their season collapsing, all right? The New York Giants right now are tied for second place. The Washington Redskins are going. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, season by season, it's almost as if you're talking about like they should tank, for crying out loud.
No, not tank.
And I know you're not saying that, but I said almost. And the reason why I'm saying, you want them to concede 4 games in. Excuse me. They might not win this week, okay? Or they might win this week. They might not win next week against New England. They got Arizona after that. It is entirely conceivable that the Dallas Cowboys could lose again to Green Bay this weekend. And in the process, the Giants could potentially win. You do have Arizona coming up after New England. It is entirely plausible that 7 or 8 weeks into the season, that the Giants could be a 500 team and just one game behind the division lead.
You want me to risk the career of Saquon Barkley on the altar of a 7-9 season?
Well, first of all, first thing I did was challenge whether or not it is risking his career, because I'm saying, make up your mind. He's either a freak of nature or not. Because those tree trunk for legs.
No, he's a freak of nature. That's why I want him nice and safe and sound.
What I'm trying to say to you is that, Max, he's running and cutting in practice.
That's making me nervous.
At a time when most people would be in the hospital.
No, listen.
The dude's got tree trunks for legs.
Saquon is different, no doubt.
Right, then let him be different.
Hold on. Adrian Peterson, same thing. Came back from an injury you're not supposed to come back from. He was like a freak of nature.
His legs weren't like that.
And Saquon wants to play, too. Great, good for him. I am not going to risk the rest of this season or his career diminishing in some way on the altar of chasing 7 wins.
Did you have any problem with him playing last year?
This Giants team is.
Work with me. Did you have any problem with him playing last year?
No.
Didn't the Giants stink last year?
Yes.
Well, based on your theory, because listen, I'm saying to you, last year he was 100%, didn't get hurt, right? But they stunk up the joint all week long.
Because if
Had
they're
you
bad,
ready
he
to
still
go to
plays.
the doctor for crying out loud. I mean, it was horrible. It was horrible how awful the New York Giants were last year.
You know what a high ankle sprain is? When you hear about a sprain, something sprained, what that usually means is a little
Dr.
micro
Kellerman's
fracture.
here.
Oh, really?
That's actually what that is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little micro fracture.
You sure?
Yes.
When it comes to Saquon Barkley?
So-
No. When it comes to Saquon Barkley, are you sure? Are you sure? All right, because it's Saquon that we're talking about here.
I understand, and I want to keep talking about Saquon.
Max.
And by the way, it's not just this Sunday where he's unlikely to play. That's not my concern. I don't think they will play him on Sunday.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday. So a
New
short
England.
week. The temptation is going to be to play him against the Patriots.
The temptation is not going to be to play him in a short week. The temptation will be to play him thereafter, particularly against Arizona. That might be the temptation.
If
That's
he comes
number one.
back against
Number two,
Arizona, we'll have a different conversation.
Listen, you got Minnesota. The way Kirk Cousins is looking, you could beat Minnesota. That's at MetLife Stadium. You could beat Minnesota the way Kirk Cousins is looking. If he doesn't get it together, then you lose to New England, right? So you're 3-3. Then you beat Arizona. You're 4-3. After that, you got the Detroit Lions. On the road, you'll probably lose that game. That'll make you 4-4. Dallas, I think Dallas will win, but they could lose this weekend.
I like James Betcher a lot, actually. I think he has promise as the D coordinator for the New York Football Giants.
I like Wayne Gallman running out of Clemson, running the football for them last week.
He has nothing to work with right now. You have a couple of good players. Every team has a couple talented players on both sides of the ball. But the Giants' defense is not going to hold up this year.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.